Sir, excuse me. Oh, you wait. Hey.
God damn, I thought you wasn't gonna never come from the back.
I apologize,
I've been up
sir.
here about 30 minutes.
Sir, but you did show up an hour late, sir.
Right.
So, let's just get it started because I got stuff to do today, sir.
Uh-huh.
So what do you see yourself in 5 years?
Well, I've been trapping so motherfucking long, trying to be the biggest dope dealer in the motherfucking world across America.
You said trapping, sir?
Trapping, dope dealer, plug, shit.
Okay, next question. Let's say you have a customer, they're unhappy with our customer service, they're pitching a fit, the manager isn't around. Well, how do you treat that situation?
Hey, I'm gonna tell them, look, I ain't with that fuck shit or none of that. Don't come in here handling me cause you mad about some shit. You feel? I ain't with none of that shit. I'm gonna let them know off the ripper. My mama, I ain't got time for that customer service shit and people getting smart. I ain't with that. I'm from the streets, sir.
Okay. Okay, next question. Let's say you have a coworker who's unhappy and her work ethic is starting to show. How would you treat that? How would you treat that situation?
Put some good dick on her so she can release that stress. Take her to that goddamn bathroom in the back. Fuck her good.
Oh, okay, sir. Last question. Let's say you're on your off day.
Yeah.
And we're really low on staff. We really need you to come in. We give you a call. Do you think you can be able to make it?
Hell no, that's my off day. I don't come in on my off day. I got shit to do. I like to smoke, fuck hoe. No, I can't come in on off day. I'm gonna let you know that out the real. Before I even get that job or whatever you're gonna do, I cannot come in on the off day. That's what an off day is. An off day. I ain't about to come in. What's up, though?
Okay, sir. Why do you think from your previous work, you said trapping?
Trapping.
What makes you think you will be a good cashier here at our store?
Finessing. I steal shit, sir. I ain't gonna even lie. I probably put goddamn, you feel me, fake money in the goddamn, you feel me, residue.
That's against the law, sir.
Hey, it's life, sir. People finesse me before, shit. I'm trying to finesse the system. I gotta get me.
Okay, I think I heard enough, sir.
Bet.
I think I heard enough.
Every day I wake, I make my mind up. I'ma be the one, be the truth, be the way. Yeah. Every day I wake, I make my mind up. Gotta keep my mind on the because they only telling their side of the story. Out here telling lies like they on Morid. And poor rich kids get their money off on it. But down here in the hood, yeah, we know Forex. We growing up, yeah. We got the good of them assets, good of my bad.
Peace to the party. It's your homeboy back again with the news. Hey, so today we got to cover what's going on with this so-called labor shortage. All right, we got the AI. I know y'all, if you ain't been hiding under a rock, I know you done heard about AI. And then at the same time, we got the whole immigrant crisis going on. So you combine that with the fact of having a weak economy right now, we got a pretty serious problem on our hand. And I don't think that as a community, we really addressing this and being serious about the matter on, for one, what's actually going on, and for two, what needs to be done about it. Because just sitting by on the sideline, hoping that it get better or waiting for one individual to come and change the outlook and what we got going on, it really just don't make no sense. So, you know, your homeboy, I got some stuff prepared. We need to cover a few things, all right? But first, we gonna start off, because I ain't gonna lie to you. They say it's a talent shortage. They say it's a labor gap. They say it's a lot of jobs that don't pay, but I'm gonna be real. I think this really started probably with the millennial generation. I'm a millennial. I can admit that we kind of started bucking the traditional careers. Like we was really on that heavy, right? But then there's a moment for correction that needs to happen, because truthfully, everybody can't go out and own a business and be an entrepreneur, rather, because you can own a business, but being an entrepreneur is not for everybody, right? Trying to buck the system so much that you don't even have nothing for you and yours, that's really a problem. But look, we're gonna get to it. We're gonna break down a couple things. I want y'all to hear this clip, man, because this brother kind of, when I watch this, it's kind of speaking to what I'm saying right now. But I want to know if y'all agree. In the comments, tap in, let me know your thoughts. So let's take it over here. I want you to hear this clip and let me know what y'all think.
Because United States is in a real tough pickle right now. My generation, we worked hard. I worked for Verizon. But my kids, your generation, y'all not going to do sanitation work, pick up garbage. Y'all not going to be postal workers. Y'all not going to be electricians. You're not going to be plumbers. You're not going to do constructions. Y'all starting podcasts. Y'all thinking about other ways of making money. What does that mean if these jobs are not being filled? They create programs for the migrants where they're giving them rent. They're giving them money. In Chicago, they have a program where they give them $9,000 every 6 months. So that's $18,000 a year for rent. That's an average of about $1,500 to $1,300 a month. That's good rent for somebody, right? So now they living in all these places. Your generation, your kids, y'all are not buying houses, bro. So you know what that is? Y'all not getting mortgages. United States needs people to get mortgages. Y'all are not going to college no more. Y'all not creating college debt. United States needs college debt. Y'all are entrepreneurs. Y'all are not joining the military. The military is depleted. That's why they're having things like proxy wars, where they got the drones dropping bombs because they don't have enough military. Y'all are not doing the things that I did, my grandparents did when they came here. So they bringing in millions of new people who are going to do these things.
Hey, so what y'all think about that? So it's a generational gap here. The further we go back, we'll see that our ancestors, they work hard no matter what position or field that they was in, trying to acquire some land, some real estate, and, grow the family. But then now you fast forward to now, we really bucked everything, and partly for a good reason. All right, so we gonna be unbiased here. It was partly for a good reason because we saw some of the more traditional careers and just methodologies, we saw it fail in real time. We saw people that was going to school coming out with a whole bunch of debt, a bullshit degree that they couldn't make no money with, right? But then on the other side of the spectrum, we got to be honest, because money, the ability to make money hasn't decreased in America. It's a reason why everybody want to come over to America. They love the free enterprise system. You can't just do what you want to do in other countries. You can't just go be what you want to be, right? So regardless of how we feel about America, that is to be true. But I think the problem in the Black community is we went too far off the spectrum, and now we in a position, we was already at the bottom of the wealth gap, but that gap has kind of widened, right? And it has more so to do with the job market is changing. Right now, we're going through a technology revolution, right? Back in the day, they had the industrial revolution. They got to mechanized farming and start getting rid of needing as much hand manual labor, right? So now here we come. Now it's basically the finished product of that. AI is coming in, and it's for sure gonna make its effects, right? But then we got the other side of it. Like we said, we got the ones we was told, we was pushed entrepreneurship heavy. And I'm sitting here to tell you right now, most people will not succeed as an entrepreneur, not because you don't have what it takes. It's because, especially in the Black community, most times our entrepreneurs go into business without solid foundation. Ask me how I know, because I done did it. This is what I'm telling you. And I was able to find some success. But the number one thing that kept me from scaling is, if you own a business, but you're constantly working in the business and you need money from the business to sustain yourself, you can't scale it. Now, for those of you who may not be hip to the business lingo, don't worry, we're going to build to that later. But I'm just your homeboy reporting on the news and giving you an autonomous perspective. You feel me? So I want y'all to play this next clip, because you can think I'm just talking. I'm going to play a clip I seen, and the statistics are backed, but I just wanted y'all to hear this conversation, and we're going to come chop it up on that.
In a lot of ways. And we've got to stop talking about starting businesses and really focus on scaling them. Scale conversations are different than start conversations. We should do the business plan, but like, if you're going to start, we got to get you to real scale, like fast.
Yes, sir.
96% of our businesses don't employ anybody. 96% of our companies don't have a single member of the team. Like, think about the potential, right? So the result of that's incredible, is that if you graduate from college and you're black, statistically speaking, the likelihood that you will ever work at a black-owned business is statistically insignificant.
Wow.
96% of our companies don't employ anybody. So when we're having these conversations about closing the wage gap and the overall like income inequality gap, unfortunately, there aren't enough of our businesses that are employing people to help to disrupt that. We're almost entirely dependent on everyone else to give us an opportunity.
Man, it's good.
That cannot be the reality. Like, last thing I'll say on this, what's amazing about PWIs and having a PWI circuit and an HBCU circuit is that it gives us options. When you're graduating from high school, you decide.
Yeah.
Okay, when those people, no matter what school you went to, graduate, what is the equivalent landscape that exists out there? It doesn't exist. So you can graduate from an HBCU, but you're probably going to work at a PWI no matter what happens. So we've got to disrupt that, right? Like, and there are ways to do it. We got to get our businesses to scale so that when people are graduating, they can say, you know what? Do I want to work at that PWI, which may be a good opportunity, or do I want to go work at this HBCU?
I like that.
And I believe when options occur, the PWIs are going to start looking over and being like, well, we got competition in the marketplace. Like, we've got to make this a good place for black folks to work. We've got to have some with no actual alternative in the marketplace. We just have DEI talks ad nauseum. Like, we just have book reports over and over and over again. But if you legitimately knew that your vice president could leave, not to go to another PWI, but to go to an HBCU that is competing against you and directly targeting not just customers in their community, but everybody else, now we're in a whole different world. So that's why scale is important, right? Because you're having different conversations. You're starting to recruit talent. I remember when we hired the first person that worked at a Fortune 500 company to come to us. And I'm like,
We're doing it.
well, what's up? Yes, I'm taking talent out the Fortune 5.
Yeah.
And not for the discount. Like, that optionality starts making people have to.
I like that.
2024 is the year of scale for everybody. Yes, us, but everybody. We have to stay focused there so that, like, when our kids walk across the stage, it's more than 4% of companies that they have a shot to go work at. Those 4% can't hire everybody.
Yeah.
So we need the 96% to grow so that we have a lot of small and medium-sized businesses that, like, folks have a shot at.
All right, so y'all, the numbers say that around only 6 to 10% of black-owned businesses actually employ W-2 workers, right, on a year-over-year basis. That's a very low number. So what does that mean? That means the majority, because you're going to say, I know buku of black business owners. Yes, you know black people that own a business, but typically they are just self-employed. For an example, if you are a beautician, you got your own shop, but you work in that shop. If you don't work in that shop, you don't make money, right? That means you self-employed. You don't own a scalable business. Now, if you owned, like, right, use the beauty industry for an example, right? A lot of hair gets sold. So if you own the manufacturing place where the hair is processed and sent out, and now you got hundreds of employees, that's a scalable business. You get what I'm saying? These are the businesses that we are lacking. So what does that mean when it comes to the labor shortage? That means that we got a lot of people who drifted off to want to be an entrepreneur, but really they could have made more money with a career. I ain't say a job, with a career that they could have used as a foundation for starting that business. See, I'm not telling you to not start the business. What I'm saying is through learned experience and through watching other people is that if you're starting from nothing, like literally don't have money in the bank and you're trying to be an entrepreneur, you're forced to make bad decisions for the business because you're constantly living out of the business. And we need more companies that can employ people to be able to make the career marketplace look more even. This is how you got them DEI programs, but everybody who's ever been affiliated, they know that's really just some bullshit, because getting hired off the merit of your skin, you feel me, when you literally the only person there and the culture don't is not attributed to you, you really, it's just a way for them to check a box and you probably gonna move on anyway. So we need to have that conversation, fam. Tap in the comments, let me know what y'all think. Is this a labor shortage, or is it a lack of will? Somebody said it's a good comparison. Is it a lack of labor or a lack of will? Meaning that there are jobs, there are careers, but we ain't chasing the stuff. We chasing everything that's popular as a community. This is part of why we get into the media, because the media is the one programming us, because they benefit from this. There's no coincidence everything that's going on. And I'm going to show you and double down. We're going to take it over here about 5 years ago. About 5 years ago, it was a little small news segment, but basically predicting what's going on now. Because, I mean, the writing was on the wall. But I want y'all to check it out. Y'all let me know what y'all think.
FIB, they're the small business people. They say that a lot of people applying for jobs just are not qualified. Roll that tape.
There's been a stretch of amazingly high numbers. We've hit records for optimism, hit records for profits, hit records for inventories. But what has emerged as the single most important business problem for small business owners is finding qualified workers or having no applicants for jobs. So this is a serious problem for America's small business owners.
She said finding qualified workers. She was also talking about finding people who show up on time and they know what they're doing. I mean, it's the quality of the workforce she was talking about. Look who's here. That guy there, you know him. That is Mike Rowe, CEO of the Mike Rowe Works Foundation and the foremost of Dirty Jobs. Mike, you're a great guy. Welcome back to the show.
Stuart, I'm flattered. Always great to be here. Thanks.
What can we do as a society about this quality of the labor force? What can we do about it?
We can talk candidly about cause and effect, and we can talk honestly about the real nature of the problem. It's not just a skill gap; it's a will gap. It's a symptom of our collective dysfunction regarding the definition of a good job. We have to redefine what that means, and we have to, at a much earlier age, make sure kids are exposed to all of the opportunities that are truly viable. We've talked about it before. There's 7 million jobs available right now, 75% of which don't require a 4-year degree. They require training. And yet we drag shop class out of high schools, thereby completely depriving an entire generation of kids from a visual representation of what work looks like. And now we have the widest skills gap we've ever had, with more student debt on the books than we've ever had. And we're still lending money we don't have to kids who can't pay it back to train them for careers that don't exist anymore. It's crazy.
You're right. It is plumb crazy.
It's damn so crazy. You heard the part he said about, now this is what we can attribute to the system, right? Schools, the way that schooling was done, all of the trades that usually you could have gotten in high school back in the day, they completely all but removed that unless you go to another specialized school, because there are still small programs, but it's like an elective now. You get what I'm saying? And when you're in school, they're not shaping you for jobs, let alone in your area, but damn sure just not in general, period. So there's no pipeline, because really it seems as though America was like, we'd rather just make this money off selling these financial aid packages, right? And we don't care what you do. It was like the labor shortage was something that was predetermined. But I'm just your homeboy with the news reporting, so I can't speak on it neither way. But it's pretty odd how all of these things are happening that coincide with one another. You see what I'm saying? Something ain't right with that. So this is why, as a black people, as our community, we got to sit here and be like, okay, look, we didn't have a lot going on for a long time, but this is real now, right? These immigrants, they coming over and taking jobs. I hear this a lot. The immigrants coming to take jobs, but the truth of the matter is, partially that's true. But then you got the other side of it is to where the lower level jobs that AI is going to be taking over, or the ones that we don't want to work. You feel what I'm saying? They're going to come and take those jobs in the beginning, but they're going to work their way up to be able to progress to other things. And I think we've been dropping the ball with that as a community. Imagine if 10 to 15 of us from in our neighborhood or our city had careers that we could put in some money into one business, that we grow up, we scale from the ground up, make it a multi-million-dollar company. You get what I'm saying? Versus every one of us starting our own individual company and only making a couple $100,000 per year at best. And that's for the top 10% of businesses. Most businesses don't see that type of bread. It's just the reality. You see what I'm saying? But if you had a career paying $60,000, $70,000 or better, and you live within your means, you could afford to go leverage your credit in that job to go start you a business. I'm a homeboy with the game today too. So peeping in what I'm saying now. So I want you to go hear from another well-known person. A lot of people would say he's very studious when it comes to business. So let's go hear from Mark Cuban real quick. I want y'all to hear what he said about AI and what it looked like for the job marketplace.
5 years, 10 years will dwarf everything that's happened over the last 30. We went from automating pen and paper, right, with spreadsheets, to connecting PCs into local area networks to, connecting people
to each
locally, right, to connecting networks to get the internet, to getting the network effect of communicating people globally. But now we're introducing artificial intelligence, machine learning, deep learning, neural networks, et cetera. So, and what that enables is the automation of automation, right? And so the people who were writing software, particularly at the lower end, unless you're doing these advanced things, they're gone, right? The people that
because the software's writing itself,
it's doing itself, right? It's just math. Programmer back in the day, so when I was writing code, it was the algorithms were if this then that,
right?
XOR, whatever it may be, right? But you had to guess, right? You had to use your best instance, and then it got smarter and smarter and smarter, and libraries to do bigger and better things. All that is being automated. And so now you have to know how to use that stuff. So either software works for you or you work for software, and once the software takes over, you're gone, right? So unless you understand that, you don't understand that the nature of work is changing, the nature of employment is going to change, and from a business, from a stock perspective. If you're in the Fortune 500, if you're an S&P 500 company, if you're in the Dow 30, right? If you're one of the bigger companies, you already know this. And in talking to a lot of these big companies, they know their workforces, and given the supply and demand of stocks, the supply is shrinking and the demand is going up just as the economy grows. That's probably good news for stocks over the long term, but it's bad news for employment, and it's bad news for people who are disrupted.
Well, and that's part of the thing, right? Is that there's a time when GM was the largest employer, and the companies like GM was what employment looked like. If Facebook's what it looks like, the revenue per employee at Facebook is infinitely larger than any automaker could ever make, or any manufacturer could make.
The difference is the time lag, right? The timeline. So what took 20 years before and then became 10 could be 5 or 3. And so when you start getting that massive amount of disruption in employment, what do? The whole nature of employment is going to change. There aren't manufacturing jobs coming back. There aren't more coal mining jobs coming back. No matter what you do to the EPA, a lot of these jobs are going to be gone. Now, there's still physical things. If you do infrastructure, you can kind of, buy some time, right? Spend more, get temporary jobs to build roads, build bridges, which is all fine and good, right? I think you can get a return on much of those things. But you're going to have to recognize that there are going to be more people out of work. So,
through this innovation.
Yeah.
So essentially what you make the case for is education and job training for grown-ups.
No, I think that won't matter, right? What are you going to go back and learn to do?
What it takes, right? I mean, whether it's finance, whether it's software programming.
Finance, that's the easiest thing. You just take the data and have it spit out whatever you need. Right? I personally think there's going to be a greater demand in 10 years for liberal arts majors than there were for programming majors, and maybe even engineering, because when the data is all being spit out for you, options are being spit out for you, you need a different perspective in order to have a different view of the data. And so having someone who's more of a freer thinker, and because if automation is being automated, you just learn the tax rules. You just feed the automation the tax rules, and it does the rest for you.
So English majors of the world should celebrate?
I think English, philosophy, foreign language majors, maybe not now, they're going to starve for a while, but that's not even the real issue, right? The real issue is if 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 5 million people have their jobs disrupted, and we see the direction everything is going and how quickly it's going. What are you going to do with them?
And the question is, who does this affect the most? It's going to be the people at the bottom. They had a saying in the military, it went like shit rolls downhill. So if these companies, these major companies, were feeling the effects, they do all this research and marketing to understand, they want to forecast what's coming down the pipeline. They already know the effects that they were feeling. Think about, let's go back to the pandemic and think about how it was so many places, so many jobs that were hiring because it was money stimulating from the, from the government. And a lot of people was using that and they was bucking, right? They was bucking straight up. We got to be real. And then the company started doing more to hire. So they did a lot of over hiring. So right now we're seeing a market correction from a lot of these big companies. That's why you get the layoffs from these big tech companies, because don't get it misconstrued. Damn near every sector of business is being affected by this technology. So now it's about being more creative in the marketplace, right? As an employee, as an entrepreneur, whatever the case may be, you got to have a solid foundation. That's just really what we're looking at right now. But I'm going to play this quick commercial. We're going to read some stats that I want to double down on. We're going to get up out of here. So y'all hold tight. We'll be right back to get at it.
Niggas, the top 5 lister, double S drifter, separate sipping, and you know I came with it if she cute.
All right, y'all, we back. So check it out. Let's go over here and read a little bit. So we're gonna read from the Global and U.S. Talent Shortage Report. This was from last year. So it say currently 68% of middle market companies are struggling to attract top talent. In its Future of Work series, Korn Ferry reports that by 2030, the global human talent shortage could reach 85 million people, leading to 8.5 trillion in unrealized annual revenues. Recruiting and retaining top talent is challenging in the best of times. Add today's economic challenges and the talent shortage that's impacting businesses around the globe, and recruiting and retention are exponentially more difficult. Now, y'all hear that now. Now, why is there a talent shortage? IT industry trends are seeing the demand for tech talent continuing to rise, while the talent pool numbers are far from keeping pace. The reasons range from a slowdown in birth rates to workers shifting their perspective on what matters to them and leaving their jobs. Regarding demography, Japan and many European nations have had lower than typical birth rates for decades. In the United States, baby boomers make up about 25% of the workforce and are expected to be aged out by 2030. As they continue to move out and retire, they leave behind high-skilled jobs that younger generations haven't yet had the time or training to take over. That is kind of about what I was talking about earlier now. All right, so according to consulting firm RSM, many middle market companies attribute their hiring challenges to pandemic after effects, compensation demands, the need for specialized skills, inflation, competition, remote work, and employee career reassessment. The Great Resignation, which was partly the result of many workers rethinking what they wanted in life and at work. resulted in 47 million in the United States voluntarily quitting their jobs in 2021. And the record-breaking numbers in voluntary quitting continue to mount. In 2022, more than 50 million workers voluntarily left their jobs, breaking the 2021 record. And that go back to that mindset, the whole, you know, it was a lot going on. Y'all, I'm pretty sure y'all seen about that, what they was calling it, quiet quitting. Some crazy shit. So it said, is there a talent shortage in the U.S.? Thanks to the Great Resignation, a term coined in 2021 for this ongoing trend, the United States has an unprecedented talent shortage. Resource from Forbes shows that 87% of U.S. retailers indicate talent shortages as a major challenge for 2023. Korn Ferry's research also suggests that unless the U.S. finds more high-tech workers, it could lose out on $162 billion due to a shortage of tech talent alone. Manpower reports that the talent shortage in the U.S. falls at 74%, just below the global average of 75%, and companies with 250 more employees are struggling the most to recruit and retain talent. So what does this all mean, y'all? You know your homeboy gonna break it down. So this is where we at with it right now. What's being said is that we had a lot of quitting going on due to the pandemic. Some rightfully so, right? Because ain't no need for you to be slaving away at no corporation and you ain't making no real money. You see what I'm saying? Enough money for you to be able to live and invest in yourself, right? So, okay, I feel that. But then if you go lead there, you got to have somewhere to land. You got to have something going on to be able to get to whatever you want to get to. Because look, I'm sitting here talking to you on YouTube right now. The whole podcaster, influencer, whatever you want to call it, right? But guess what? This ain't how I make my living. With the party, we don't get paid from this. We make our little residuals that come from YouTube, but it ain't enough to pay no bills. We small with it. But guess what? No matter what this do, we gonna be able to fund it because we make money outside of this. This is how this work, y'all. You can't just sit back. You gotta grind for everything you want, especially if we at the bottom. So I'm just a homeboy reporting with the news, but I want to hear y'all perspective. Is it a wage gap? Is it a will gap? You scared about AI? Do you got a plan? Right? Are you positioning yourself? Are you positioning the ones under your leadership, whether man or woman? What's really good, y'all? And we're gonna move from an autonomous perspective, and we got to cover all avenues and be well rounded. But that's my time for today, y'all. I appreciate y'all tapping in. Like always, let's chop it up in the comments. And y'all tap into the podcast we have on Sunday covering history more in depth. But that's my time, y'all. I'm out of here. Peace.
Whenever I start to feel alone, I just play your voice loud. Then I say, before things change. Now I read the message you sent, trying to tune out when you say I know you love me, but you should just forget about us.
This is all the love I had. I can't get it back, I won't get it back, Gave all the love I had. One motherfucking 3, nigga. I can't get it back, I won't get it back, Can't get it. This is all the